Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
WWE, under Triple H's creative regime, is heading towards WrestleMania 41, and the excitement is high. The recent developments on Raw and SmackDown have opened endless possibilities, and fans can expect some shocking twists ahead of WrestleMania 41. One of the biggest twists that Triple H needs to ensure on the road to WrestleMania is to turn Roman Reigns heel. The OTC is set to clash against Seth Rollins and CM Punk in a triple threat match at the Showcase of the Immortals. However, there are visible signs of Reigns turning heel soon, considering his reaction towards the growing relationship between Paul Heyman and CM Punk. When the original Tribal Chief made his return on Raw at Madison Square Garden, he brutally attacked Rollins while Heyman was helping Punk to his feet. This frustrated Roman, leading to him attacking the voice of the voiceless too. Even during the recent contract signing segment on SmackDown, Roman's anger at Punk and Heyman's relationship was visible. This happened when the Best in the World revealed that the special counsel still owes him a favor, despite the announcement that the triple threat match would be main eventing WrestleMania. So, considering this aspect, the game needs to take the risk and finally turn Roman into a villainous star again. As of now, the former undisputed WWE champion is playing a tweener character in the Stamford-based promotion. Meanwhile, Reigns' villainous run as the Tribal Chief proved to be a massive success for the company and generated a lot of hype surrounding the product. So, to increase the hype for the feud at Mania, the heel turn of the OTC could prove to be a significant decision. It will be interesting to see how the storyline unfolds in the upcoming weeks and whether Triple H will take the risk to turn Roman heel again. What could be the aftermath if Triple H takes the risk and turns Roman Reigns heel again? Though the above scenario is speculative in nature, if the game takes the risk and turns the OTC heel, it will change the storyline dramatically. The villainous turn of Reigns would make CM Punk the sole heroic character in the entire storyline. Seth Rollins' hatred towards the Best in the World has already established him as a villain in the storyline. So, if Triple H also turns Roman heel, CM Punk will be the only babyface left. This could help the company generate a huge positive reaction for the voice of the voiceless. Reigns and Punk are currently being advertised for the upcoming episode of WWE SmackDown. Due to this, fans can expect some major developments on the Blue brand. The road to WrestleMania 41 was already paved with gold. Sellouts in every city, merchandise flying off the shelves, and anticipation at a fever pitch. But deep in the war room of WWE, two of the most powerful minds in the business, Triple H and Roman Reigns, were pacing like caged lions. They knew something the fans didn't. They felt it in their bones. To make WrestleMania 41 truly unforgettable, they had to take the biggest risk of their careers. For months, SmackDown had been thriving under the reign of the Bloodline saga. Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, was still the centerpiece, flanked by Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, while Jey Uso had gone his own way on Raw. But there was one star who had risen quietly yet undeniably, LA Knight. The crowd loved him. His "yeah" chants echoed through every arena, every promo he cut felt like lightning in a bottle, and every match he delivered was a headline waiting to happen. Triple H had seen it unfold week by week. LA Knight was organically becoming the face of SmackDown, an anti-hero with attitude, charisma, and a connection to the people. But therein lay the problem. Roman knew it too. "He's got momentum," Roman admitted one evening in the locker room, sharing a quiet conversation with Triple H behind closed doors. "If we don't pull the trigger, he's gonna overshadow the whole damn thing." Triple H nodded grimly. "And if we do? We're betting everything." That's when the idea first took shape. Not just a swerve for shock value, but a full-blown, career-defining heel turn for LA Knight. Take the man the fans loved the most, the man they believed in, and have him align with the most hated force in WWE. It was insanity. But it could also be brilliance. The plan was simple, but the execution had to be flawless. They would wait until the final SmackDown before WrestleMania 41. The main event was set, a contract signing between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Cody, riding high after winning the Royal Rumble for the second consecutive year, was poised to finish his story once and for all. The table was set in the center of the ring. Adam Pearce presided over the contract signing, flanked by security. Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman by his side, oozed confidence, while Cody Rhodes stood defiant, mic in hand, ready to wage war. Then came the cue. As Cody began to sign the contract, LA Knight's music hit. The arena exploded with cheers. Knight strutted down to the ring, microphone already in hand, wearing that signature smirk that had made him a fan favorite. He played to the crowd, soaking in the adoration like it was oxygen. "Now hold on just a second," Knight bellowed. "Everybody's talking about the main event of WrestleMania, but it seems like there's a little piece of business nobody's talking about. And that's me." The crowd roared. Roman's eyes narrowed. Cody looked intrigued. Triple H, watching from gorilla position, felt his heartbeat quicken. "I beat everybody you put in front of me," Knight continued. "I sold out every show you threw me on. And still, I'm standing here without a main event. That ain't how this is gonna go down. Nah. Not tonight. Not on my watch. 'Cause if we're talking about WrestleMania, you'd better believe LA Knight's name belongs on that marquee. Yeah." The fans echoed the chant, louder than ever. Roman leaned forward, sneering. "You sure about that, Knight? You sure you want to step to the tribal chief?" That's when the moment arrived, the moment they had been building toward in secret. Without warning, LA Knight's confident smile morphed into something darker, more sinister. He dropped the mic and, with shocking precision, blasted Cody Rhodes in the back of the head with a brutal chair shot. The arena fell into stunned silence. Cody crumpled to the mat. Adam Pearce shouted for order. Security scrambled, but it was too late. LA Knight wasn't finished. He pounced on Cody, unleashing a relentless assault. Roman Reigns rose from his seat, slowly at first, a smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. Paul Heyman's eyes went wide with glee. Knight hoisted Cody up and drove him through the contract signing table with a devastating BFT. The camera zoomed in on Cody's lifeless body, the contract lying beside him, unsigned. The crowd was in chaos. Boos rained down. Chants of "Why, Knight, why?" filled the air. Knight snatched the mic once more, breathing heavily. "You all thought I was your hero," he spat, looking disgusted. "You thought I was the man to take down the bloodline? Newsflash, I don't care what you think. I'm done waiting for my opportunity. I'm done playing nice. I do what I want, when I want. And if that means standing alongside the tribal chief, so be it. Yeah." Roman stepped beside him, holding up the undisputed title as Heyman raised Knight's arm in victory. It was the unholy alliance no one had seen coming. Backstage, Triple H exhaled deeply. He knew they had just set social media on fire. WrestleMania 41 wasn't just going to be another grand spectacle, it was now a powder keg ready to explode. Fans would tune in not just to see Cody's redemption, but to witness whether LA Knight's shocking betrayal would pay off, or if he had made the worst mistake of his career. Later, in a post-show interview, Roman Reigns summed it up perfectly: "You either acknowledge greatness, or you become a part of it. LA Knight made the right choice." Triple H, speaking to reporters, gave only a sly smile. WrestleMania 41 is about to be the most unpredictable night in WWE history. You think you've seen it all? Buckle up. The risk had been taken. The game was in motion. And the road to WrestleMania had never felt more dangerous, or more exciting. When the news broke that Triple H, now fully at the helm of WWE Creative, had made the bold decision to turn Roman Reigns heel once again, the wrestling world was stunned. For years, Reigns had been the dominant force, first as the tribal chief heel, then as the tweener champion who basked in respect and mixed reactions alike. Many thought he had reached a rare, untouchable status, a character above alignment. But Triple H, never one to play it safe, saw an opportunity to ignite a new era of chaos. It all began subtly at first. Reigns started showing flashes of the arrogance that once defined the early days of his bloodline dominance, but this time, it was different. The cracks appeared not out of desperation but out of boredom. In his promos, he began to scoff at the notion of challengers. "I've beaten them all," he'd sneer. "Cody, Seth, Drew, Jay, name them. They all bend the knee." His tone, once edged with respect for his opponents, grew venomous. Fans, who once acknowledged him with pride, began to sense the storm brewing. The turn truly ignited at SummerSlam, in front of a packed stadium, when Roman Reigns shockingly assaulted Cody Rhodes after their rematch, using a steel chair with a fury reminiscent of the Shield betrayal from a decade ago. It wasn't a typical heel move for a desperate champion, it was the act of a man who knew he had power and wanted to remind everyone who ran the industry. The reaction was electric. Social media exploded in debate. #Roman Reigns heel turn trended for days. Some fans, hungry for unpredictability, praised Triple H's gamble, calling it the spark WWE needed to avoid creative stagnation. Others, however, questioned whether turning Reigns heel again risked undoing the years of meticulous character building. But Triple H had a long game in mind. The aftermath saw Roman Reigns cut some of the most ruthless promos of his career. No longer content with being called the Tribal Chief, he adopted a darker moniker, the Monarch of Mayhem. He painted a picture of a kingdom he had built, only to find it filled with ingrates who didn't appreciate his rule. "You cheered when they whispered I was slipping," he told the crowd on SmackDown. "You wanted me dethroned? Fine. I'll burn the whole kingdom down." Under this new persona, Reigns wasn't just battling faces, he was targeting the very foundation of WWE. He declared war on corporate authority, turning his back on even Paul Heyman, who was left speechless during a SmackDown segment that saw Reigns call him dead weight. In doing so, Reigns became a terrifyingly unpredictable force, a villain with no master, no advisor, and no allegiances. This heel turn breathed new life into the roster. Babyfaces who had once been overshadowed by the previous Bloodline saga found fresh purpose. Seth Rollins, as World Heavyweight Champion, took personal offense to Roman's claim that there's only one real title in this business. Their renewed rivalry became a focal point, culminating in a brutal match at Survivor Series where Roman, through ruthless tactics, reasserted his dominance. Cody Rhodes, meanwhile, reignited his quest not just to finish the story, but to avenge the ambush that robbed him of dignity at SummerSlam. His promos took on a raw intensity, framing Reigns not as a champion, but as a tyrant clutching onto power with bloodied hands. Their inevitable WrestleMania clash was hyped as the battle for the soul of WWE. Triple H's decision also had ripple effects beyond the ring. Merchandise sales, surprisingly, soared. Roman's new Monarch of Mayhem shirts flew off shelves, proving that fans, even in disdain, couldn't resist the allure of an unstoppable villain. Ratings spiked whenever Reigns appeared, especially during segments where he unpredictably attacked commentators, tore up contracts, or orchestrated backstage ambushes. The locker room dynamic shifted too. Younger talents like Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes were brought into the fold as desperate heroes looking to end Reigns' reign of terror. Sami Zayn, one of the most beloved underdogs, publicly declared, "We stopped him once, we'll stop him again," rallying the WWE Universe behind the mission to dethrone the Monarch. Triple H, watching from behind the curtain, saw his gamble paying off. In interviews, he remained cryptic about the decision, only hinting, sometimes, to rebuild the empire, you've got to let it crumble first. Yet, as with any great risk, there were dangers. The locker room buzzed with concern over overshadowing other talents. Some argued that making Roman the central antagonist once more risked stalling the rise of fresh faces. But Triple H countered by positioning Reigns not just as an obstacle, but as the ultimate proving ground. Defeating Roman Reigns under this new incarnation would instantly elevate any superstar to legendary status. Then came the unexpected twist. A returning The Rock confronted Roman in a goosebump-inducing SmackDown face-off. "You're not a king," Rock said, eyes burning with intensity. "You're a tyrant. And every tyrant falls." Fans erupted worldwide. Suddenly, Roman's new heel persona wasn't just a character arc, it was a collision course with legacy itself. WrestleMania became the stage for what many called the biggest match in modern history, Roman Reigns vs. The Rock, Monarch vs. Legacy. And while Reigns managed to escape with a controversial victory, the seeds of rebellion had been planted deep in WWE soil. In the months that followed, challengers came at Roman like waves crashing against a cliff. But unlike before, these weren't heroes facing a reluctant tyrant, they were warriors storming the gates of a mad king's castle. Each battle felt urgent, meaningful, with the crowd firmly invested in seeing the tyrant fall. Triple H's risk, while polarizing, had undeniably reignited WWE's narrative flames. Roman Reigns' heel turn wasn't just a twist, it was an earthquake that reshaped the landscape, challenging every superstar and thrilling fans hungry for chaos. In a world where predictability is the enemy of excitement, Triple H had chosen the path of danger, and in doing so, carved a bold new era in WWE history. If you want, I can also write a fan reactions, locker room whispers, or even Roman Reigns' own internal monologue to add depth. Want me to expand it?